Assalamualaikum and good day everyone. My name is Dainu
Assalam.
Hasha binti Abang Saini.
Assalam.
I am from the Bachelor of Education Teaching English as a second language program, and I will be conducting as the moderator for this forum. Our forum presentation topic is based on my assignment question 1, which is: do vernacular schools destroy multicultural education in Malaysia? And what are the implications of having or not having vernacular school? I hope this forum goes well, and I will be moderator for our forum this time. If there is no problem, I will start our forum. So let's begin our forum. Before that, I will explain what is vernacular schools and what is multicultural education. Malaysia is a multicultural country constituting three major ethnocultural groups: Malay and Bumiputra, Chinese and Indian. Owing to its diverse cultures attempts through a number of channels, politics, economics, and social were met to bring about national integration. School is thought to be the most effective platform to bring about national integration based on the multicultural framework. In Malaysia, we have three main races, which are Malays, Chinese, and Indians. The multicultural education of Malaysian society has been formed since before the day of independence and is becoming more and more integrated in this era of globalization. Regarding what is the meaning of vernacular schools, vernacular schools simply means that use the mother tongue in the implementation of teaching and learning (PNP) at school. There are three types of vernacular schools, namely Malay, Chinese, and Tamil. The first Malay vernacular school was established in 1855 in Bayan Lepas, Penang. This vernacular system continues with the existence of national type schools, SJK. Then back to our topic. The vernacular schools destroy multicultural education in Malaysia. Can we want an explanation or a little sharing from the other teachers about the topic that has been discussed earlier? Teacher one?
Okay, thank you, Teacher Hasha.
Yes.
So, good days to all the teachers. My name is Diana Fatia, and I'm glad to be part of this forum. So, I'm currently a teacher at SK Ponglin, and I will answer some questions as the Venezuela school destroys multicultural education in Malaysia. But in my opinion, the vernacular education system has its own advantages and disadvantages. So the first thing we'll look at the advantages. So one of the advantages is it get the student to get the opportunity to master other language, such as it can providing academic skills, emphasis to cultural and spiritual values. For example, so Malay student who attend Chinese school can master Chinese language, and it will give the student in advantages in form of their career, pursue their career as an additional language. And then, but it also has some disadvantages. So the advantage of the vernacular education is that it will create a very wide racial gap between races. Although Malaysia have achieved 60 years of independence, there are still a handful of groups from each race that are racist to race since they were little. It is because they have been classified according to some race since they were little. So, in fact, there are also few individuals who are still not fluent in their own language, even though they are reached adulthood. So, I think that is my opinion about vernacular school. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Teacher Fatia, for your opinion on whether vernacular schools destroy multicultural education in Malaysia And I strongly agree with your explanation just now that vernacular schools do not destroy multicultural education in Malaysia. Your explanation was very detailed and good. Okay, we have also heard the opinion of teacher Fatia about the advantages of vernacular schools. May I also know the disadvantages of vernacular school? So, can we hear from one of the teachers about their point of view? Yes.
Alright, so if I may, so hi and assalamualaikum. First of all,
Waalaikumsalam.
thank you to our moderator Tisha Asha. My name is Arif Adam and I'm currently a teacher at SMK Kaichung, and I will touch a bit regarding the implication of vernacular schools. So when we talk about this, we need to understand that every race is already comfortable socializing in their own mother tongue, whereby this eventually will make some of them feel awkward when socializing with other races which speak with another languages. So basically, education is one of the best way to form and further nurture the spirit of love for the country as well as the feeling of belonging between the races. However, because of the background of our education system that varies between races, the goal is difficult to achieve. Let's see what happened before the British left Malaya, whereby they actually realized this problem. Eventually, they have taken the initiative to overcome it by establishing several committees that work to investigate this problem and express opinions or suggestions to overcome it. Among the earliest, if I'm not mistaken, the earliest committees formed was the Barnes Committee in 1950. So the chairman, L.J. Barnes, concluded that unity can be achieved through education at a lower level, which is by introducing a single stream of education called Sekolah Kebangsaan. So this Sekolah Kebangsaan using Malay and English as the medium of instruction. So we use this kind of language when we teach the students. At the same time, all schools based on race should be closed to ensure that the goal of unity can be achieved. Unfortunately, so this kind of proposal is difficult to implement because not every race is ready to do so. As a result, venue statement suggested that only the existing school with their respective medium of instruction can be maintained. Uh, this education this education problem has received serious attention not only from the government but also from all walks of life. So the Alliance Party government was given the opportunity to govern Malaya when it won 1955 election. The concern is that uh, was that the Alliance government was highlighted when the Minister of Education, Dato Abdul Razak, headed a committee to study the current education situation. As a result, in 1956, they submitted a report known as the Razak Report. So the committee proposed a comprehensive form of education. However, it still maintains Malay, Chinese, Tamil, and English primary school using their respective medium of instruction. Something new from this committee is the same high school education system for all races. So I think that's all for me. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Teacher Adam. Can I ask you a few questions?
Yeah, sure, sure.
Is that means that there are no more race-based schools and the use of the medium of instruction varies at the secondary school level?
So basically, yes. In addition, the proposal from this committee also has been adopted by the alliance government, and even now our education system inherits the proposal, although not completely. It's kind of interesting to be honest, because this seems that the desire to create an integrated education system that transcends racial boundaries has not been achieved until today. In the absence of a spirit of nationalism that bring a sense of loyalty accompanied by a high sense of belonging, uh, it is difficult for a single education system to be implemented. In fact, the fear of losing one racial identity become an obstacle in creating an education system based on one languages only. So yeah.
Okay, thank you, Teacher Adam, for your point of view on the topic. Is there any other implication of having a vernacular school? Can we have a point of view from another teacher?
Good day to everyone. Thank you, Teacher Asha. My name is
Okay.
Shafiq Gani, and I'm a teacher at SMK Sentul Utama. And I will giving my other point of view about the implication of uh, having a vernacular school in Malaysia. or the fuss about whether vernacular school should be abolished or not also distract attention away from Malaysia primary and secondary education system, which is largely regarded as below the level it should be. A paper published in 2018 critically assessed the education system, highlighting that the average reading competency and performance in science and mathematics of Malaysian students lag behind countries such as China, Vietnam, and Thailand. With many parents recognizing the high standard of regular school in comparison to secondary school, it would be a better use of energy to improve academic performance and progression in national school rather than penalize vernacular school for their whether this can be seen as vernacular school will focus more on the culture of their own native. The proposal for the abolition of vernacular school has actually been raised for a long time. Other than that, there are various objections that arise, especially from the Chinese community. The Chinese community felt there was no need to abolish this school because it did not pose a great threat to them and other race. However, the Bumiputra Malays and Indian who feel that the Chinese community will use the opportunity fully to advance their own race think otherwise. Therefore, they are factors that state how necessary it is to abolish vernacular school and replace them with better system. The following are the factors of the abolition of vernacular school that have been observed by the researcher. Malaysia is a country with a multiracial society led by Malay, Chinese, and Indian. The existence of this race led to birth of several community blocks that make it difficult to foster multiracial agreement. As we know that one of the cause of racial division is the existence of this vernacular school. The existence of this vernacular school has made certain race make when they learn a habit in life. It is difficult for them to accept what is done or practiced by the outside community, such as the lifestyle of some people who help each other regardless of religion and race. They are more concerned about ahead of their own people, even if they are the victim of many races. With the proposed abolition of vernacular school, of course, to some extent, unity between race can be formed, which is indeed the dream of the people in Malay. Our race in this country will also live in harmony if this unity is established.
Okay, thank you, Teacher Shafri, about the explanation and your points of view you have just said. Does any teacher have an opinion about this topic also? Teacher Irma?
Hi, Assalamualaikum and good day to
Waalaikumsalam.
everyone. My name is Irma. In my point of view, society in Malaysia thinks that only a few people are willing to help people of different races and religions, and the rest will only help their own people. This is said to be caused by the existence of this vernacular school. Even though there are students of other nationalities in the school, for example, a Chinese national type of school has students of Malayan Indian nationality, but the racial spirit that is fostered causes this kind of thing to happen. Therefore, by eliminating such schools and creating schools of vision, at least it can help students to remove the communal nature in themselves and can foster the spirit of unity. Bak kata pepatah, melentur buluh biarlah dari rebungnya, which gives meaning if we want to educate someone in better direction, we should educate him from a young age. This is related to what the researcher wants to convey, which is for the economic balance for the coming days, because if we look at it now, the economic gap between ethnic group is getting narrower, and if things like this are not taken into account, it will affect the economic development between ethnic groups in particular and in Malaysia in general. In fact, this issue of poverty used to be a major issue in the 1970s, especially among the Malay ethnic groups, and the existence of economic imbalance between ethnic groups, especially the Chinese and Malay ethnic groups. This is because the Chinese usually sit in the city and do jobs in the urban areas, while the Malays are in the rural areas and in simple language in the village areas. This causes the economic gap between ethnic group, and due to the differences in the area of residence, this is what triggered the Chinese Malay in Indian vernacular schools. There are many various ways such as the introduction of the Dasar Ekonomi Baru (DEB) to bridge the economic gap, but the gap remains until now because they are taught to benefit and be ahead of their ethnicity only in their respective schools. Therefore, it is important to eliminate this vernacular school and create a vision school or a national school only so that they are educated to help each other regardless of the various races in order to guarantee the reduction of economic gap in the future.
Thank you, Teacher Irma, because giving some good points actually. And thank you for your opinion on the implications of not having vernacular schools, which seems quite disadvantageous to the students. Are there any other implications of not having vernacular schools? May we hear from another panel member?
Hi and Assalamualaikum. Thank you to Teacher Hasha. My name is
Welcome.
Muhammad Afifuddin. I'm a teacher at Sekolah Agama Menengah Tanjung Karang. For the short form is SAMTA. So good day to all teachers. I have also have another point of view of the implication of not having vernacular school. Okay. One of the weaknesses of this vernacular school is the wide racial gap between students of different races. This is because they cannot be friendly and get to know each other, and this also causes the treatment provided to be different if there are other ethnicities attending schools where the majority have other races, and it will bring greater risk if it's not curbed and allowed to continue. If the racial gap between them has made the services between them different, and some are less and some are more. This has made some of them feel that they are not appreciated and not taken seriously, even though they are also Malaysians. This will cause some of these groups to want to demand their own rights, especially their equal rights as Malaysians themselves. With the abolition of this vernacular school, to some extent, it will be possible to bring equal treatment at the school level again, and it will cause the student of the national schools or this vision to feel more secure and appreciated. The tendency of demonstrate the right to equality between ethnic groups will not happen in the future. The abolition of vernacular schools is very important because through the abolition of vernacular schools and the establishment of schools of vision and the existence of existing national schools can produce students who respect each other among them, even though they are different ethnicities. The spirit needs to be nurtured so there will no enmity between those who are Malaysian and can continue the harmony that has been fostered from the past until now and guaranteed forever. Only then will Malaysia can become a peaceful country and be able to give birth to a society that is always happy and always grateful for being Malaysians. That's all for me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Teacher Afifuddin, for your input on the implications of not having vernacular schools, which is good info for the students' educational future. In conclusion, the vernacular education system has its own advantages and disadvantages. One of the advantages is that students get the opportunity to master many languages. For example, Malay students who attend Chinese education schools can master at least two languages, namely Malay and Chinese. This will give the student an advantage in the future when entering the world of work. In addition, it can also empower the native language of its speakers and prevent it from being swallowed up by the times. The disadvantage of vernacular education is that it will create a wide racial gap between races. Although Malaysia has achieved independence for 60 years, there are still a handful of groups from each race that are racist because racial unity cannot be achieved. Either way, they have been classified according to race since they were little. In fact, there are also a few individuals who are still not fluent in the Indonesian language even though they have reached adulthood. This is due to the use of different mother tongue in educational schools according to each race, while the national language is set aside. Every race is comfortable social, social in their own mother tongue, causing a feeling of awkwardness, when with other races because they have to speak in another language. This different language also sometimes causes suspicion between races and causes fights. Every race in Malaysia should be united from a young age so that understanding between the races can be fostered at an early age. When each race understands the other, it will make the country a peaceful and harmonious atmosphere. In my point of view, this vernacular education has more disadvantages than advantages. The government needs to review this system, and it is better to close national type schools and unite all races in national schools. Equality rights also needs to be given to all races so that justice can be felt. To achieve racial unity, education is one of the best ways. Isn't education the main process in shaping oneself to achieve a good and a perfect social life? In conclusion, the unification process in the education system in Malaysia started before Independence Day, but it is quite difficult to realize. Unification in this field will be achieved if each ethnic community understand the original history of Malaya and the development of education in this country. Therefore, every corner of society needs to be concerned citizens in dealing with this issue. Any discussion needs to be held to avoid misunderstandings that could lead to larger unity issues. Therefore, vernacular schools also produce qualified young minds of the nation as they are able to command their mother tongue. Lastly, I would like to thank you all the teachers and willing to share your time in this forum and your good opinions were well received. Thank you all of you. You may leave the forum space. That's all. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank
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 you.
you.
you. Thank you.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you. Bye.
Bye.